Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Bolt City Podcast, courtesy of Odyssey. Dave Pele, Josh Pele, Mario Heron will join us in just a few minutes, but we're going to start off with a guest right away. One of our all-time favorites, man. He joins the show all the time, but it feels like it's been a while, and it's exciting because the team's now in the postseason, and it's Fernando Ramirez from the Sporting Tribune. Fernando, thank you so much for joining us. Only a couple games remaining until this team hits the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right now, looking at this Charger team, look, I said it, but when I say it, I say it a lot of times as a fan. I said it a few weeks ago that this team's going to win their last 5 games and go into the postseason on a 5-game winning streak. Now, if I'm wrong, who's going to call me out, But if you say it, then all of a sudden things might get a little bit more hectic. Are you surprised by how the Chargers are playing, and can this team play better?
Well, first, thank you guys for having me back. I was telling Josh, I'm like, yeah, you guys just have me on when they lose. When they win, you guys don't give me the easy stuff. So I was telling Josh, you guys lost my number. And then you're like, oh, wait, let's bring that guy back on. We only have him on after losses. But it surprised me because the first step was, how are you going to take away Waddle, and how are you going to take away Tyreek Hill? Well, the Chargers played a lot of man coverage, which is not very familiar with the Staley system. Staley's more of zone coverages and doing different things. So what they've been doing the last few weeks with their defense, I mean, you're holding opponents at 19% on third down. That's unheard of. Last year, the Chargers were allowing almost 51% on third down. So the cornerbacks have tightened up. Asante Samuel Jr. is playing really good football right now. And I feel like just because he doesn't get the interceptions, well, he got one last week, but it's just not showing up. But he's been flashing a lot. Michael Davis is finally starting to kind of put together some good games. Alohi Gilman's one of those guys that a lot of people were kind of iffy on. He's had strong performances. Nasir Adderley's been kind of up and down still, but not as bad. And then they're doing this without Derwin James. He's been out a couple of weeks with I think it was a groin injury. And hey, the pass rush is starting to go. It's starting to pick it up. I think they have like 14 or 15 sacks in the last 3 weeks. Kyle Van Noy, 3 straight games with a sack. This all started when Kyle Van Noy got the team together, and he had an all-defensive meeting, and he's like, what are you guys thinking? Like, what's going on? It was after the game against the Raiders, and they met together. They discussed things. They went through things. And it's like ever since then, boom. That's why people in the offseason, well, why would you bring in a guy like Kyle Van Noy? For that reason, the leadership. The stats may not be there, and he's starting to pick it up. But you brought him in for that leadership. He's won 2 Super Bowls. He's seen the way it's been done. He was on the Pat McAfee show on Wednesday, and he said, he's like, everybody wants to get younger, but you need veteran leadership in the locker room. With the Patriots, when we won, we were always one of the oldest teams left in the playoffs. He's like, you want to have maybe a young Justin Herbert, but the rest of the team mixed in with veterans and guys who know how to get it done. And that's what the Chargers did. Khalil Mack, another guy. Fridays are team meal days where everybody goes out to dinner together as a team. Whoever can make it, whoever can't. But it's something that these guys have really brought in, Khalil Mack and Kyle Van Noy, that has really kind of helped bring the Chargers together. And when you hear that kind of stuff, you're like, okay, maybe it isn't a coincidence that maybe it's not a coincidence that they've really come together and the defense playing hard. But the defense the last 3 weeks has been very, very impressive, especially with some of the names that you see. The Dolphins were riding high, and then they hit the 49ers and the Chargers, and it's like everything just unraveled for them. So it's very interesting to see kind of the way the defense picked it up. The offense is still concerning, in my opinion. They're not scoring points. They're putting up enough to, as a guy who skated through high school, I know what they're doing right now. They're just doing enough to get by. But these next 2 weeks, they really have to be able to pick it up. If not, it is going to be worrisome going into the playoffs when you have to face Kansas City, who's number 2 in the NFL. I think the Bills are number 3, and then the Cincinnati Bengals are number 6 when it comes to scoring points. So that's going to be very interesting moving forward. But the defense has been very, very impressive.
I love that you shed some light on the Kyle Van Noy story. That's one of those things that's something you would know because you're in the building every day. You get to know these guys on a personal level. I love that kind of stuff. Talking about Joey Bosa, though, he's the big news this week. Dave called it when he got hurt, which seems like an eternity ago. When he comes back is going to be when the Chargers are going to make the playoffs. And it worked out just like he said. It's pretty nuts how that happened.
I also said right after Christmas. Right after Christmas.
You did call it right after Christmas. Do you have any insight on how much he's going to play this week if he does play? And also Derwin James with his concussion, where he's at.
By the way, I was going to tell you right now, J.K. Scott told me to tell you hi, Josh. former Alabama punter. Yeah, we were talking about it, and I was like, oh, I think we have a former, we have a mutual friend, and it was just funny. He's like, tell him I say hi. I was like, oh yeah, for sure, I will. So J.K.
That's
Scott
awesome.
sends his love. But it's gonna be interesting because if I know, I mean, the Bosas are known as athletic freaks. They're ready to go. So I think the last 2 weeks they've kind of maybe slowed Joey down and told him, hey, we need you to get in game shape. So I think these last 2 weeks have really been in game shape because if you notice, Ian Rappaport and even Adam Schefter was like, hey, Joey's basically ready to go. But I think the Chargers might have withheld him back. They see the way the defense is playing. You know what? Let it keep on going. Let Joey get back. Let him get back to game shape. And the way that these guys are, they're athletic freaks. They're going to be ready to go. So I expect Joey to play a couple of snaps, maybe limited, maybe more third down, trying to bring him back a little bit. And that's why it's perfect. And I know Dave's going to roll his eyes, but that's why it's perfect that you've already clinched. That way, these next 2 weeks, Joey can just get back into game shape, and he doesn't have to worry about, okay, we also have to make the playoffs. We have to game wreck the other team. We have to do this. Maybe I have to play more snaps than my body will allow me because we have to get there. No, you're good. Kyle Van Noy's picked it up. Other guy, Chris Rumph has had 2 sacks in the last 3 weeks as well. So guys have picked it up. You don't have to rush yourself back. And with Derwin, he had his helmet out there on Thursday, but he was a DNP, did not practice. I'd be surprised if Derwin played just because you don't need to risk him anymore because you have the 2 weeks. So I think he'll be back for the Denver game. I'd be surprised if he plays this weekend just because you want to rest him, let him get back. But man, that hit. Now, I didn't think he deserved to get kicked out for that hit. I think they were kind of going back and they had already seen 2 other hits where he had kind of been energized and ready to go. But I didn't think that deserved an expulsion. But and obviously he didn't as well because you saw the camera feed. But these are 2 guys that you're going to need come playoff time, especially if you're going to face some of these tough teams. So the fact that the Chargers are getting healthy, and I mean, Dave, you've been around this team for a long time as I have. This team getting healthy at this time usually does not happen. So maybe something's happening with this team where, hey, you got these guys back, and who knows, the sky could be the limit for these guys, especially with getting Joey and then obviously Derwin back as well.
As much as I've given a tough time to Joey Bosa, I know he's talented. I know he makes the team better. Even against the run, his numbers against the run are absolutely amazing when he's on the field and when he's not on the field. My complaint with Joey is when you see guys who have the ability to be great, and what I mean great, like maybe Hall of Fame great, like his brother, is you want more of it. And I always used to be critical of Joey for like pulling himself out on big third down conversions where you're going, man, this is one of those stats that people pay attention to. Can you stop them on third down? And then when Bosa is off the field, it always frustrated me that it was always the call, I'm tired, the hand up, get me off the field. I'm like, there's no way he's tired. You just said it a second ago, Fernando. These guys, the Bosa brothers, they're workout freaks. They look different than anyone else. They're fast as can be. They're extremely strong. And so I always question kind of like, how much do you actually love the game of football? Has this become a business and not a game anymore? Where I watch Nick Bosa, where it looks like the most important thing to him is to be involved as many plays as possible. And I kind of wanted to see that for the Chargers. I'm not going to keep taking shots at him. Trust me, I want him back. The deal is, you said the team's getting healthier. I kind of said the same thing in the last show that we did, was the Chargers are getting healthier when other teams aren't. I mean, you're looking at even as we do the show on a Thursday right now, the game that's going to happen in a couple hours, the Cowboys are without Pollard, the Titans without 4 of their best players. The teams are falling apart. These are supposed to be playoff teams, and the Titans will fall out of it because of injuries. And then you look at the Chargers getting healthier. It's crazy. So injury-wise, and maybe this isn't a fair question for you, the one that we're all thinking about is Slater. Rashawn Slater. Is there a chance that we're going to see Slater join this team for the postseason?
You know what? Brandon Staley has not ruled it out. It's funny because Brandon Staley gave us a lecture the other day. He's like, did you guys ever think an injury report would be that important when it came to your future jobs? And it's like, because every Monday, every Wednesday, every Thursday, somebody's asking, so Joe, what's up with Joey? What's up with Rashawn? So it was just funny the way he kind of explained it to us. But Rashawn Slater, I wouldn't be surprised if next week maybe they activate him, let him play a couple of snaps against Denver. But it seems like they haven't ruled it out completely. And it's like, if you haven't ruled it out completely, that means that he must be on track. And I've seen him in the locker room after games. He looks like he's in great shape. He looks like he's kept himself in that great shape that he was in. Now the question is, well, what do you do with Sawyer? Sawyer's played himself into a starting position. My question is, would they consider Matt Filer struggled at left guard? He has not played well, and that's just what I've seen. They're allowing too much pressure to come up through the up the center for Justin. Would they, because I think the offensive line of the future is going to be what it is now, but next year Sawyer gets moved to left guard and Slater's the left tackle. Now, would the Chargers consider doing that for the postseason? I don't know. Maybe it's too many moving pieces, and instead they just put Jamari back as a backup player, and then Slater starts. But I think they should consider every possibility. But I wouldn't be surprised if Slater comes back, just because he, like I said, he's kept himself in game shape. He looks like he's ready, and the Chargers have not discounted that. And look, Joey's back now, so maybe Rashawn gets some snaps in Denver, let him get a couple, and then he'll be ready to go for the postseason. But until they rule it out, because I'm pretty sure they would want him to get some snaps before they head into the playoffs. You don't want a cold left tackle going in, having not played since week 3 in Jacksonville. So if he doesn't get any snaps next week against Denver, then I'd be really surprised if they activated him for the playoffs, unless it's just to be a bench left tackle in case Sawyer gets hurt. Then they put him in, but I'd be very surprised if he doesn't like I said, if he doesn't get any snaps against Denver, then I'm pretty sure he will not he won't go, just because you need him to get some snaps before the playoffs.
One of the biggest debates we had on our last show was myself and Mario versus Dave about the battle for LA. I told Dave there is no battle for LA. The Rams and Chargers don't have this heated rivalry that you'll see between the Jets and the Giants and interdivision teams. I think the Chargers don't think of the Rams as a rival. The Rams don't think of the Chargers as a rival. Do you see this game on Sunday as a rivalry game?
No. I don't think they care.
Dude, you phrased it wrong. You guys phrased it to set me up. That wasn't how I said it. These guys,
that's exactly
Fernando,
how you said it.
I get no love. My point was this: you have the Rams, who are defending Super Bowl champs. Okay, they paid for the stadium, and then you have Dean, who came to LA. You remember, Fernando, with the whole battle for LA, fight for LA signs all over the place. Really a bad move. Okay, bad move.
Yeah.
And I was saying,
remember the L that looked like the Dodgers, and then Tampa Bay Lightning had a baby together, and it was like all weird. Yeah, I remember that.
Yes, exactly. So when I was saying this is Dean's chance to say, look, we already know that we have the young fan base. The Rams have the established football fan base. This couldn't come at a better time. This game, New Year's Day, SoFi Stadium, and it's a Charger home game, that for Dean wants this win. I'm telling you, this game is important to Dean. Fernando, you have a personal relationship with Dean. Tell me, does it mean something to him or not?
No, I just think it's another game, to be completely honest. I mean, if this was a Super Bowl, then yeah, of course. Like, I'm sure it would be like, hey, we need to go balls to the walls and win this game. But I just think, just because I just don't see what like the importance is now. If this was a playoff win, like when you're in, then yeah, obviously. But I just don't see. I think it's a little bit downplayed. I think they just want to go into the playoffs feeling hot, feeling good about themselves. I really don't think that this game means all that much. Now, before the season started, I thought this was gonna be the Rams are battling for a playoff spot, so are the Chargers. This is gonna be like two Trojan horses hitting the wall against each other and everything. But this game really doesn't mean much. And I mean, it's Baker Mayfield against Justin Herbert. It's a little weird. I just really don't see this as like a I really don't see this as like a boom, like, wow, okay, rivalry game. So I don't see it as important as the Raiders, Chiefs, or Broncos. So I just don't I don't see it that way, to be honest. I don't think these guys really care about it. But if they win, they win. But Chargers are the home team this weekend, so that'll be pretty interesting to see what they do this weekend.
Do you have a prediction for this game? The one thing I'm looking for going into these next 2 weeks, Fernando, is our offense. Like you said earlier, the offense has struggled. Even though we have almost everybody back besides Rashawn Slater, we still haven't looked as good as we should be on paper. Do you have a prediction for how many points you think they're going to score in these next 2 games? Do you think they get their act together?
I'm wondering what kind of Baker Mayfield we're going to see this weekend, just because he's been interesting. And I said it on my podcast that I think Baker should shy away from going to another team. I think he should stay with the Rams, learn how to be a quarterback, relearn how to be a quarterback, relearn how to be an NFL quarterback. And with Sean McVay, he could probably end up taking his game to the next level especially because next year Cooper Kupp's going to be back. All these guys are going to be back. Didn't mean to turn this into a Rams thing, but that's just my opinion on that. You need to get it, and I don't know. I mean, you need to scrape everything that you already have in that playbook and start over. Or I don't know what it is, but these guys need to get Justin Herbert on the move, and they need to be able to get him to do what he's comfortable doing. What is he like? Rollouts, moving around in the pocket, being able to launch it down the field, and not just down the field because he has good vision. So sometimes he'll look right there and then just throw a 5-yard pass that turns into a 15-yard gain. So I think they need to do something. I think they need to mix it up, to be completely honest, because if not, you're just going to get repetitive. If you notice, some of the defenses have already guessed kind of what these guys run sometimes. Like there's a play where he rolls out to his right and Mike Williams comes underneath and he throws the pass to Mike Williams. So my bad. Huge tangent. My bad. So I think the Chargers take the right step forward and score more points. So I'll say Chargers 31.
Wow.
I'll say Chargers 31. Rams 19.
That's an interesting score.
I think the Chargers take a step forward with it. I just don't know if it's going to be completely right there. I don't know. I think that Baker will turn the ball over a couple of times as well. So and then obviously I don't know if Danger Russ is going to play next weekend. So that'll be pretty. I don't know if Pierre will let him play next weekend. So that'll be interesting to see what happens. Man, the Broncos are they don't look good at all. And then the owner comes out and he says the new head coach will not talk to Pat and he'll directly report to me. And I'm like, dang, okay, like this is gonna get Hard Knocks. Go to the Broncos next year. We want to all see that.
Yeah,
I want to see how all that works.
Yeah, no kidding. Broncos football. Let's hide. Can't wait. You know.
That Subway commercial, and you notice they pulled that Subway commercial, by the way.
Yeah. Dude, there's guys, man, Fernando, there's so much to talk about. We'll get into more, I'm sure, in a couple of weeks. We'll get you back on, but we want to ask you about the Raiders. We want to ask you about the Carr situation with the owner sends them home. We want to talk to you about that.
Dude, where's my car?
The postseason, the whole deal. Dude, right? Dude, that's a good one. Look at this, man. I'm just rolling them out. By the way, Fernando, we'll let you guys go. I just want to point out, Fernando, Josh, and Mario obviously have never worked in ticket sales when they're telling you this isn't a game of importance. I'm telling you, it's a game of importance. All right,
I've done almost every other job except for tickets. Yeah.
Well,
but marketing, I got my master's in marketing, so I could market this game. Baker Mayfield versus Justin Herbert, former first round draft picks going at now. I don't know.
I hope they take your degree back. That's a shame. Fernando, man, we love you. We appreciate the time. Happy New Year to you, and we'll talk to you real soon. Okay.
Happy New Year to you guys too. Thank you guys again for having me on during a easier time, not as difficult as some of the other times. No, I'm kidding, but I appreciate you guys so much, and see you guys soon.
Absolutely. Take care. That's Fernando Ramirez again, Fernando. The Sporting Tribune. And there you go. I got no love right there, Josh. I tried to sell it the best I could. Big game coming up. Reason to be excited by it. All three of you shot me down and said, no way. I'm telling you, I am excited about this. I think it's fantastic. People forget, all right, and I wasn't alive back then, believe it or not, guys, but in 1960, you had the Rams and you had the Chargers in the same city. The Rams wore the team. They both played in the Coliseum. The Rams wore the team where the Chargers only averaged 5,000 fans a game in 1960. And then in 1961, they moved back to San Diego. Now, here we are back there in SoFi Stadium playing against each other. I am curious, and we'll talk about this on Sunday night. I am curious to know when you look at the stadium, if you'll be able to tell the difference of which ones are Rams fans and which ones are Charger fans, because the colors are so similar. But we know it's a Charger home game at the same time. We know if you want to get a ticket to a game, you can get in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the game's going to be close too. The Rams have looked pretty damn good. Baker Mayfield, I want to talk about him for a second. The quarterbacks that he's had since Lincoln Riley, right? Lincoln Riley's supposed to be the quarterback whisperer. He's had Hugh Jackson, Greg Williams, Freddie Kitchens, Kevin Stefanski, Matt Rule, and Steve Wilkes before Sean McVay. The question I have to you guys, was he set up to fail before this? Is he actually a good quarterback, but he's in the wrong system the whole time?
Go ahead, Mario.
Well, first, I think it's going to be really interesting with the crowd just because I think – I said this last pod too, but I think a lot of Rams fans that saw that this team's going to suck this year did like the from The Simpsons goes into the bush comes out of the bush, a Chargers fan. I think that happened a lot. Like you gotta jump on the bandwagon. And when it comes to Baker, I'm not gonna lie, I've always been a Baker guy. Like I thought it was very funny when they're playing against Kansas and he's telling the guys, he's grabbing his crotch, telling them to suck it and everything like that. I thought that was funny. Like I was like, that's good stuff. That's how you market right there. And I don't think, he's had, like you said, he's had crazy coaches. I mean, Kitchens and then Hugh Jackson and then Matt Rule, he should never left college. So it's like, yeah, I think his development was hurt. That being said, the Cleveland Browns teams was very talented. That Kevin Stefanski, they had their opportunity. They had an opportunity to really make a run. And I think last year it was hard to really critique Baker because he was hurt during that span. So he wasn't 100%. That being said, his play wasn't exceptional at all. I think this is a good restart for him and just a good refresh and getting your just confidence back. And like Fernando said, I completely agree. If I was Baker, I'd do anything I could to stay in LA. If you can stay with McVay as a backup or whatever, I think you should just get your confidence back. I don't think you could be ever a starting franchise quarterback again, but you could have a Colt McCoy career. He could be a good backup where you pick him up, he goes in for a game and he, does good enough to win the game, but he'll never be a franchise quarterback again. But I think right now he's Colt McCoy. He could go on a Colt McCoy. What do you think, Dave? I know you don't like Baker. I'm interested.
No, well, a couple different things. One is, here's the deal. I'll start with what the last thing you said. Baker Mayfield believes he is a franchise quarterback. You can't tell him he's Colt McCoy. Yeah. You tell him that, he's going to spit in your face. I mean, his whole life has been proving you wrong. Look at his whole career from high school to college again when he changed schools to winning a Heisman Trophy. Everybody knows his story. I think what's most important as far as what you said, number one, he had a ton of weapons in Cleveland. He did, man. He had Jarvis Landry. He had Chubb. He had Odell Beckham Jr. He had a tight end you could throw to. He had so many people that they should have got the ball to. Now you sit and you go, is that coaching or is that Baker Mayfield? There's one game he played in the NFL that stood out to me before with the Rams where I go, man, that was incredible performance. That's the Baker Mayfield I thought we were going to see, because the one thing you heard about Baker Mayfield coming out of college was how accurate he was. He was extremely accurate as far as a passer goes. Well, he hadn't been an accurate passer in the NFL. He had one really outstanding game, and I'm sure if you gambled on it, Mario, you'd remember. It was the one in Nashville a year ago against the Titans where he was insane. He put up a ton of points in that game, and everyone's like, wow, this was the guy we thought we were getting. And then next week he went right back to garbage. Just like you saw him in the game where he made his Rams debut and everybody couldn't believe what they were watching, and he rallied back and they get the big win on national TV. And then what happens the following week? He goes back to being Baker against the Packers. He's the same crappy Baker Mayfield that we've seen for years. And you wonder, what is the deal with this kid? His ego is tremendous, right? I mean, is there anyone that questions that their guy that has a bigger ego than this guy? And maybe this is position you need to have that ego. For example, Phillip Rivers was a quiet guy, didn't even swear, but Phillip Rivers believed in himself more than anybody. I mean, how dare you tell Phillip Rivers he wasn't going to get it done? Every NFL quarterback has that same ego, but Baker Mayfield does stuff that it's easy to hate him. I mean, I'll go back to probably the one thing he's probably most embarrassed in his life about. Do you remember when he got arrested and he tried to run from the cops and he got checked right into that brick wall? I mean, dude, what were you thinking? I mean, you made one bad decision, now you made another one right afterwards. So you sit there and you go, well, who are you? So if I was him, yes, I agree with you guys. I would try and stay with the Rams because Matt Stafford, man, I don't know how much longer he's going to play. And you wonder how severe are his injuries. And we knew Matt Stafford was hurt before the season even began. And what's the future with him? Don't think he wouldn't want to stay with McVay in Los Angeles with a talented team and move forward. Otherwise, what are his options, guys? The Titans, the Jets? I mean, what is the future for Baker Mayfield if he still wants to be a starting quarterback? And maybe I'm wrong. I mean, you guys don't hesitate to tell me I'm wrong. Josh, do you think he still wants to be a starting quarterback?
I think he only knows to be a starting quarterback. I agree with you. It kind of reminds me of when Carmelo Anthony was out of the league and teams were like, well, you can come over here, but you're going to be a bench player. He's like, I'm Carmelo Anthony. I'm not going to be on the bench. I think Baker Mayfield thinks of himself as the same guy. He's not going to back up Justin Herbert. You know how Chase Daniel is always Justin Herbert's biggest fan? That's my boy. You always see Chase Daniel doing that. Baker Mayfield's not. He's not that guy. Baker Mayfield's not like, that's Justin Herbert. He's like, I hate Justin Herbert. But the only person I can think of that had that big-time personality that was willing to sit behind a starting quarterback was when Jameis Winston sat behind Drew Brees. That's the only time I can think of a guy with a big personality willing to sit behind a starting quarterback. I don't think he's that guy. Maybe I'm wrong, but these next 2 weeks for Baker Mayfield are huge. If a team like the Jets or any team that needs a quarterback is looking to pick up a guy.
And I mean, he is a gunslinger. Like he will. I think the thing that like people forget with Baker is that like he has this arm. He is crazy accurate, but he's a risk taker. So like, yeah, you're gonna get 4 touchdowns, but get ready for the 2 picks with that too. Like it's not gonna. He thinks he can throw it in the tight window like Aaron Rodgers. He can't, but he's gonna try. So I think that's the thing with it too. And I mean, Baker's played well, but like it's also. I mean, the Raiders, besides Max Crosby, that's not a good defense. And the Packers, I mean, they're on paper, they're a great defense. And then when they put together in games, they can cause problems. And they did for him, picked him off, kept him at 111 passing yards. And then he faced a Broncos defense that was trying to fight their coach and quarterback who had just didn't even want to play anymore. So it's like, yeah, he is playing well, but it's also like, but with the sample size that we've gotten, how is he going to match up against a defense that has been on a freaking roll lately and that's dominating guys and that could really cause some problems for him? Not to mention, Chargers just got 7 sacks against the Colts. The Rams can't block for crap. I mean, if we all 3 blitz right there, I bet 2 of the 3 is going to get there. I don't know who, but one of them's going to touch them. So it's going to be interesting to me. I think Baker's going to get a little wake-up call. That being said, if he does win, and we talk Battle of LA, it's not really like a thing. He will make that a thing. He will make that a thing if they win. Like he will do something nuts.
Okay, so we have so much to talk about in today's show going into Sunday. I want to touch on this because it's inside the division, and we spoke about how you look at Russell Wilson, you look at Carr, and you look at Herbert, and you look at Mahomes, the quarterbacks in this division alone going into the season, and the excitement factor. 2 of them have failed. One has failed miserably in Russell Wilson. But when you look at Derek Carr, and he is told basically by the owner to stay home. Not only do we want you not to start the last 2 games of the year, we want you to stay home. A couple things for people who aren't aware, and we spoke about this on the show, a few months ago, that the Raiders can cut him in the first week after the season is over, and they can save $110 million, basically. They have to pay, I think, like $6 million buyout, but they don't have to pay the $110 million contract. He's out, but if he were to play the next 2 games and he were to get hurt, all of a sudden they're putting themselves at risk of paying that money again. So it's more of like, go home, wrap yourself in bubble wrap, and we'll cut you in January. One of those deals is what they're kind of saying to him. But the Raiders sound like they have completely had it, put a lot of the blame on Carr, don't think he's the guy. So many different storylines in this with the Raiders and what they thought they were going to be. And most importantly, Devontae Adams coming to the Raiders because of Carr. Where do the Raiders go from here if you're the Las Vegas? And how does that change the division going into the years to come?
The only way is up. That's where the Raiders go. Where Derek Carr was not a good quarterback. I said at the beginning of the season, I thought Derek Carr was good. I was wrong. He misses more open receivers than any starting quarterback in the league, and I think the Raiders are making the right decision by moving on. Derek Carr is not the future. If you have Darren Waller, Devontae Adams, and Hunter Renfrow, and you can't put up 30 points every single game, you're the problem. Josh Jacobs, you're the problem. So Derek Carr has been the problem with the Raiders, whether it's in Oakland or Las Vegas. They're making the right move by moving him up. If I'm him, I'm going hang gliding, or I'm going, I'm doing something crazy these next 2 weeks. I'm like, yeah, you want to send me home? Well, guess what? I'm not going home. I'm going paragliding, right? So I don't know, but he's not the future of the team, and I'm all for teams just cutting their losses. Why keep going to with Kirk Cousins and like the Commanders or Redskins, whatever you want to call them? He was so bad and so good at the same time that he'd be the 16th best team every season. That's the worst place you can be in the NFL. The Chargers for years and years always picked between the 16th and 20th pick. You're like, this sucks. We're not bad enough to get a top pick. We're not good enough to make a run in the playoffs. And that's kind of what the Raiders have been.
They have to save money somehow. They can't pay a coach for the 3rd time if they fire McDaniels. And they don't want to pay Carr this crazy amount of money. So you got to, at one point, you got to cut your losses and you got to save at some point. I was with Josh. We both were like, dude, Carr's a good quarterback. Carr gets overlooked. God, that's aging like milk from 1902. Just god awful. And And then now the Raiders, I mean, they're in an interesting spot. I do think that if you're a rookie quarterback, Raiders is a very interesting spot to come into because you do have Darren Waller, you do have Hunter Renfrow, you do have Devontae Adams. Now, I do / could see Devontae Adams could be a very interesting trade piece for them. If you want a top 3 pick, if you have that much confidence in a Will Levis and a Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, where you get to move. You know, I've said this multiple times. The Bears are, I think, sellers at 2. I mean, this is Chicago Twitter that I'm in it for the Bulls, and I get the craziest Chicago Bears theories, which are always fun. It's like reading the Earth is flat theories. So if you want the equivalent to sports, just hop into Chicago Bears Twitter and you'll get some. But they're like, yeah, we'll trade number 2 for Devontae Adams. I'm like, I think you're going to have to ask for a lot more than that. But I don't know, it's weird. So I have a question for you guys. Was this the Raiders choosing McDaniels over Carr? Because one of them had to get paid out to fire. So is this kind of choosing the coach over the QB?
Okay, so here's the deal. Carr's been with the Raiders now 9 seasons. He's played in 1 playoff game. 1. And he lost it. Okay, he lost to the Bengals last year. So, I mean, that's not the production you want to get. That's not, value for your money. And from everything you understand through the different general managers they've had in the front office and through even the owner who said he wanted to go to Las Vegas and make a splash. Josh just listed all the offensive talent. Defensively, their talent stinks. And Josh said a second ago how, the Chargers picked between 16 and 20 and, it's really the worst spot to be in. Not bad enough, I should say, to get a good pick and then, good enough not to make it in the postseason. The Raiders, unfortunately, have picked a lot of times in the top 10. Just none of those guys are on the team anymore or do anything. They don't do anything. Unfortunately, they've had guys who have been arrested. They've had guys who have been cut. They've had malcontents. They've had a disaster of an organization. It'd be easy to say if you were a Raider fan, this is only in the last 4 or 5 years. It's not. It's really been since the Super Bowl when they lost to Tampa Bay. That was 20 years ago. And you sit there and you go, man, how did this franchise that was the winningest franchise percentage-wise in the NFL turn into this? Carr is a disaster. It's interesting to me that Carr's last pass that he threw for the Raiders was on Christmas Eve against the Steelers when he had Hunter Renfrow in the middle of the field on the last play of the game. And he threw it to the guy that Hunter Renfrow beat by 30 yards, threw it to the guy that was trailing way behind him, and he intercepts the ball. And you're going, man, this is Derek Carr's career in a nutshell right here. And then when they said, hey, we want you to go home, it's exactly what he earned. This is what he earned. So you can say, I didn't deserve this. No, dude, you deserve this because you earned this, and this is where you're at. The Raiders, if I was them, I would go a couple different directions. And the reason we obviously talk about the Raiders, they're a rival of the Chargers. It's important for the Chargers to beat these guys. Also, you want to keep them down as long as you can, like we talk about what the Broncos are going through. If I'm the Raiders, I go a couple different options at quarterbacks. My first option would be, let's call the Packers, see what we can do with Aaron Rodgers. And the reason is Devontae Adams, you want to hold on to him. If you have any chance of still making a splash, you don't want to do a rebuild in Las Vegas. You just got there. The city just built you a brand new stadium. They gave you everything that you possibly wanted. How can you sit there and say we're going to rebuild right now and then hope to be back in 5 years? You got to make moves right now. Hunter Renfrow is even a veteran, and it seems like he just came into the league. Devontae Adams, Renfrow, Waller, do what you can to take care of Jacobs. You bring these guys back, you surround them, you add Aaron Rodgers, and if you don't get Rodgers, Brady knows the system with Josh McDaniels. It's going to be an easy transition. And I understand Brady's not the Brady he was a year ago, but I would bring Brady in with the idea that he'd be there for 1 year to train the guy that you said, Mario, that you draft in the first round. And is there a better guy to learn from than watching Tom Brady execute Josh McDaniels' playbook? Whether that's CJ Stroud, whether that's Bryce Young, whether that's Levis, any of those guys, that would be a perfect scenario for an up-and-coming quarterback and get your organization on the right foot. For me, that's what I would do.
100% agree. That has to be the move. You either connect Aaron Rodgers with his old number 1 target, Devontae Adams, or you put Tom Brady with his old coordinator. I mean, it's a win-win if you're the Raiders, and then you get to train whoever they get. Right now, the Raiders sit at number 9, so they're going to end up with a good quarterback, assuming they lose these next 2 games. So I hope bad things happen to the Raiders, but if I was a Raider fan, I'd want them to either sign or get, Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers. That's the move for sure.
Also, just something to mention with that too. So in some mock drafts, they have, Young going at 1, and then Levis going at 5 to Colts, and CJ at 7. And then Anthony Richardson at 8. I'm going to throw up. So like if they did want to get just from this very early mock draft on December 29th, and it's very early, they would have to move up. If the stays, or I'm guessing Stroud, Levis, and Young will be taken before them, they're going to have to move up at some point.
Yeah.
There's just no doubt about it.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. And again, nothing against the mock draft guys, but guys, and I love talking draft talk. Draft talk's one of my favorite things to do. I love always speculating and getting ready for the draft. Josh pointed it out, I think, a month ago when, he said it's the day that everybody's team plays at the exact same time because we're all excited as football fans. This is our chance, right? Even if you're the defending Super Bowl champs, you just can't wait for draft day because you want to get better. You want to get closer to, holding the Lombardi trophy. But these guys aren't great at it, and when you look at the top guys, the big name guys you see on the national networks, dude, they're lucky when you watch at the end if they even get 4 guys to the right team in the first round. And that's their only job. A lot of these guys make over $1 million a year, and they're lucky to line up four guys out of 32 picks. And so you never know. I mean, Mario, you're sitting there saying in Chicago, they're talking about trading the second pick. Now, why would you trade the second pick? And because you're thinking quarterback, why wouldn't you just go and get your defensive end for the next 10 years or 12 years and get Will Anderson from Alabama?
Literally. The only one thing that pisses me off is there's writers that saying Will Anderson wouldn't fit the system. Adjust it. Adjust
He's a freak.
it. Yeah,
He's Derek
adjust
Thomas.
it.
The guy's Derek Thomas. He's a freak.
Yeah. It's hey, numbnuts. Adjust it. Adjust the system. Go get the freaking best player in the draft.
Oh my goodness. All right. Do you have anything to say this, Josh, before we get to picking games? Because, man, I've been on a roll. I can't wait now. I'm looking forward to this actual part.
I want to pick games. Yeah, let's pick games.
All right.
Okay. Oh, I gotta pull this up.
Okay, you got to do it. And go ahead. At the same time, I'm going to see if Josh stays back to his old form. He just says opposite, or if he starts picking on his own.
So, where we stand right now on the spread picks, Dave's 26, 32, and 1. Josh is 28, 30, and 1. I am 27, 31, and 1. So Dave is still last. Josh is the lead, and I am second. We're still working on punishments and consequences for getting the spreads wrong and who gets the best. We're still working on that. Let us know if you have a good punishment. Let us know in the YouTube comments. You guys get pretty ruthless in there. Tweet at us, DM us, literally anything. My idea was you have to do Derek Carr eyeliner for a show, but we'll workshop it. So, all right. Dave.
Yes.
You're on the hot streak. Vegas has been worried about you.
Yeah.
Let's get to it.
Let's get
Cowboys minus 14. Titans.
God, that's crazy. Isn't it crazy? Man, I was going to say, no matter what you said, I was going to sit there and say I'm taking Dallas. I know they don't have Pollard, but the Titans don't have anyone you've ever heard of. Like, there's not going to be one guy sitting at the stadium today. The game is in Nashville, wearing a Titan jersey of a guy that's actually on the field. That's how crazy it is, Do you take a bunch of scrubs? Joshua Dobbs, by the way, guys, is playing quarterback for the Titans tonight. Yeah. He was on, I think, the Detroit Lions as a backup 8 days ago. Insane. They went right over. Jeez. You say a good head of hair? Is that what you said? Jeez, Louise. It's a medical condition. He doesn't even have eyebrows. Damn it. He can only play in cold weather because the sweat just rolls right into his eyes. Nothing to stop it. Damn it. All right, I'm going to go Dallas. I'm going to still take Dallas, minus 14.
Okay. Cardinals, Falcons. Falcons minus 3.
Where's the game at? Atlanta? I'm going Cardinals. That's crazy. That's a horrible game. You couldn't pay me to go to that game.
Bears, Lions minus 6 at Detroit.
Oh, boy. I'll tell you what. I think Lions get back on track. 6 is a lot, man. Is Fields playing?
Yeah, they really want the Lamar record. Really want it.
Okay, I'm going
really
Bears. Change me up. I'm going Bears.
Oh, he always has to change. Chiefs minus 12.5 against the Broncos. I don't think Russell's playing in this one.
Yeah, well, maybe I should take Broncos. No, I'll go Chiefs.
Pats are minus 2.5 against Dolphins.
Dolphins.
And then Colts versus Giants. Giants are 6.5. I mean, just 6.
I'm going Giants.
And we have Saints, Eagles. Eagles 6.5.
Going to Eagles.
And Bucks -3, Panthers.
Oh man, it's crazy. That's a good game. It's like a playoff game. 3's a lot. I'm going Bucks. Well, I'll go touchdown Tom.
Browns, Commanders 2.
Going. I'm going Commanders. I keep picking them.
Wentz at QB 2. Jags -4 against Texans.
The Jags are on fire, man. Go with the Jags.
Niners 9.5 against the Raiders.
Niners, easy.
And then Jets -1.5 against Seahawks.
Let's go Jets.
Jets. Packers -3.5 against the Vikings.
I'm going the game in Green Bay.
It is indeed at the biggest piece of crap field in the NFL.
I'm going Packers.
And then we got Chargers. I'm just gonna guess you're gonna take them 6.5.
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna take the Chargers 6.5, and I'm going final score. Fernando hit me crazy with that 19, by the way. 27-24, because it's closer. I'm gonna go actually Chargers to win, but I'm gonna say the Rams cover.
Okay. And then Steelers Ravens 2.5.
That's a tough one, and Lamar's not playing as of right now.
Yeah,
I tell you what, I'm going to the Steelers.
And Buffalo Bills at Cincy, it's pretty much even.
Cincinnati. On to Cincinnati.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Josh?
All right, I'm just gonna read them off. The teams that I think.
You aren't gonna stick it to me. Okay.
I was gonna. If I go below 500, I had to do my own. So I'm below 500.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go Titans. Go Cardinals. Bears. Panthers. Chiefs. Actually, change that. I'm going Broncos. Then I'm gonna go Washington. I'm gonna go Saints. Go Giants. Dolphins. Texans. Raiders.
Really? What?
Yeah,
Wow.
I'll tell you the reasoning behind this. Raiders.
Okay.
Go Seahawks.
Get my handwriting. This is awful.
Rams.
Ooh.
Packers.
Okay.
Chargers to win, but the spread's too big.
Yeah, that's fair.
Then I'm gonna go Ravens. Bengals. And that's all the games right there.
Yeah. Wow.
All right. If the spread was over 3, if the spread was over 3, I'm going the opposite team. I think there's going to be a lot of close games.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Method to your madness right there. I see what you did there.
I like that.
By the way, guys, there's only one game on the schedule where the two teams have a winning record against each other. Like they have a winning record in the season. Only one game.
Really?
Yeah, that's it. The Bengals Bills. Only one.
That's not until Monday night.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Here's the idiot I am. I'll be watching every one of them. I'm in.
All right, I'm gonna save. I'm gonna save Chargers at the end. So I'm taking Cowboys -14. I mean, Titans literally they're the walking wounded. I mean, they're walking dead at this point. Like there's nothing. Give me Falcons -3.
You love Atlanta.
I do. I love Atlanta, and I watch Hard Knocks, and I think if you want to be depressed, put yourself on the Arizona Cardinals. Lions -6. Dude, Bears are gonna blow that at one point. They're gonna keep it close again. They're gonna blow it. Give me Chiefs. Pats, dude. Pats 2.5 is one of my favorite bets this weekend. One of my favorite bets.
Okay.
Give me ew. God, guess Colts. God.
Josh, did you take Colts or Giants in that game?
Giants.
You took the Giants too? Okay.
I think I did. I think I messed up my formula.
Kick me in the nuts while watching that game. It's gonna be better than that. Eagles.
If somebody does it, videotape. I want to see it. Film it.
Eagles. Give me Eagles and then give me Panthers. I think they're gonna keep it close within 3. Give me the Browns. Wentz at QB, sure, buddy. For Washington, give me Jacksonville -4. Texans really want that number 1 pick, and Lovie Smith's going to keep it because they need Bryce Young. Raiders are sad. So give me the Niners. Raiders fans, hope you guys feel really good, by the way, after talking smack and everything. Now your team sucks, your QB sucks, and now you guys might have to do a rebuild. Sucks to be you. Suck it. Jets -1.5. Easy peasy lemon squeezy for Seattle. Green Bay Vikings. I just hate Green Bay more than I don't know. I hate Lucifer. So give me the Vikings +3.5. Rams Chargers. I told you guys I'm gonna wait that till later. And then Steelers Ravens. Give me Ravens. Actually, yeah, sure. Give me Ravens. That's gonna backfire. Then Bengals. I really like the Bengals. All right. So the Battle of LA. I'm so done saying the Chargers are gonna score 30 points. I'm burying that.
Fernando picked it.
Yeah, when he said that, I was like, I've been down that road for too long, brother. I need to take an exit. I need to get out. Give me, I think Chargers win the game. I think it's extremely ugly. I think 24-17. Chargers barely cover. Baker gives a last second interceptions. Interception. Chargers 24. Rams 17. That's my prediction.
I'm going 21-20 Chargers.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, game-winning field goal.
Ooh.
That's it. Another game-winning field goal.
I'm sorry, not game-winning field goal. It's 3 touchdowns. I'm an idiot. 21-20.
Game-winning extra point.
Game-winning extra point, dude. Tired.
We saw it. We saw it at the Holiday Bowl.
Yeah. Let me pick my players of the game though.
Okay.
We didn't do that.
That's good.
All right. Player of the game. Take Dave's guy. Go Drew Tranquil. He's on fire. I'm gonna go Drew Tranquil on defense. He's gonna have lead the team in tackles because Derwin James is probably not gonna play. And then on offense, I'm going Mike Williams. Mike Williams is gonna have a touchdown. All right. Who's up next?
Go ahead, Mara.
All right, so this game, I'm looking at it. Like I said, Chargers got 7 sacks last weekend against the Colts. Rams O-line's nothing better. I mean, at one point this year, I think they're like by far giving up the most sacks in the league. Now they're 3rd, but that's just recency. And the Colts just getting blown apart by the Chargers. So my player to watch, I was going to take Drew. You took that from me. He's top 10 in the league in tackles now. He's been playing exceptional. Guess what state he's from?
Indiana.
Yeah. The golden state of the Midwest. All right. Give me Khalil Mack.
Who says that? Is that a thing?
Give me, I don't know. Give me Mack for defense player to watch because we're like haven't had that multi-sack game yet for Mack. I think he gets it finally against the Rams. I think he's gonna be able to exploit them. So one last game probably before he gets posted back, which would be really exciting. So he's my guy for that one. For offense, God, this is so difficult. This is going to be really, really cheesy. It's the most classic. You can rip me for it however you want. It's Herbert. Herbert's been saying it. He's like, the offense needs to catch up. It's no secret that the offense needs to match up with the defense. It's Herbert for me. How well can he play this weekend? The Rams defense is no slouch. Still with all like their top guys out. Jalen Ramsey's still playing. Bobby Wagner's still playing. So no slouch of a defense. I'm looking for Herbert to have a 2 touchdown game, possibly 3, hopefully 4. Hopefully he can really go off. So those are my 2 guys. Khalil Mack, Mac Daddy. Justin Herbert.
All right, I'm going Austin Eckler is my offensive guy this week. Austin Eckler is the guy. You just mentioned all the guys on the Rams defensively that have been stepping up. Their secondary has actually played pretty well for the Rams recently. One thing is I always watch these teams and you see lack of effort when you know your team doesn't have a chance of being in the postseason. The Rams, what they came out with the other day against the Broncos, I thought was impressive. I hope it's not the same effort against the Chargers, but as I said, I think this game matters to the Rams. I think you're going to see max effort from them. So I'm going to Eckler is going to be the guy. He's going to be the difference maker on offense. And for defense, guys, I'm shocked neither one of you guys jumped on it. Joey Bosa is well rested. I think Joey Bosa comes through. Joey Bosa is going to sit there and he's going to get you at least 2 sacks in the game, and you're going to notice that number 97 is back on the field. I'm going Joey Bosa as my defensive player of the game for the Chargers.
I don't think you're allowed to pick him at all.
Really? Because
Yeah.
this guy's picking Justin Herbert. Since when can we pick quarterbacks? What the hell are you
Dude,
guys
you
doing?
only dissed Joey Bosa. You're not allowed to pick him for player
Yeah.
of the game.
Oh, I
That's not
did.
fair.
If he
I gave you guys first crack. You passed on him.
what if he gets 2 sacks, would you DM his mom and say I'm sorry for trashing your son?
Dude, I hate to say it, dude. I kind of know his mom. that sounds bad to say. No joke. That sounds bad to say. But yeah, his mom and I even are Facebook friends. Yeah, no joke. Yeah. So no, I'm going Bosa. Just to sit there and go, look at this guy. I know it hurts a little bit. You guys,
Yeah.
man, it got me pretty good the last few weeks. If Bosa does anything, it's going to hurt you guys every time. Every time.
If he has a big game, I'm going to get you a jersey.
Oh man, don't
But
do
it's
that.
going to be like it's going to be a medium, a schmedium.
You give me the 99 Bosa jersey before he changes number. The one that
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sucked.
Give you that one.
That was it. Oh my gosh, that's
Give
funny
you
as
the-
hell. Oh,
Give you the off-brand one. We're like the
All right, here's a uniform question for you guys. So when the NFL now has the rights through Nike, right, to do NFL jerseys, I think Nike does them all now for every sport. You know, they do the big 3. So when Reebok had them and Adidas had them, and you know what I mean, different people had them. When you're a fan of a team, when the manufacturer who makes the jersey switches over, like you go from Reebok to Nike, does that mean you have to go and you have to get that jersey now in a Nike jersey? Same guy, or just go ahead and wear your Reebok jersey? Like your fandom. How does the fandom work on this?
You go
Reebok.
first,
I mean,
Josh.
I'm wearing what I got. Like I don't.
You aren't buying another one.
Yeah.
You aren't
no.
going and
I
buying.
mean, people don't notice that besides you, by the way. You're the only person that's like, "Hey, you noticed the Chargers are wearing 3 white socks today?" I'm like, no, I never.
Yeah, I
noticed
do.
that.
It's true.
I-
It's not fun
I-
watching games
I-
with me.
I will 100% notice that every single time. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
big
Dude,
I wish I was more like
Yeah.
you guys.
did you notice it the other day, Mario? I pointed out to Josh. The receivers on the Chargers didn't wear the blue. They only wore all white,
Yeah.
and
I
everyone
noticed
else was
that.
wearing the blue sock. Okay, see, I told you, Josh. I'm not crazy. Pay
I
attention
noticed
to
little
details.
I know.
There you go.
It's like-
That being said, we need to write like a letter to Nike and be like, hey, you got to do something about the Arizona Cardinals jerseys. We got to finally change those. Those
Dude,
things
you
are the
think-
ugliest freaking things of all time.
Don't you think they would have changed out the fact they haven't done anything basically since 1947? They would have
Dude, you got
changed
to
out.
do
I
something.
mean, you moved from St. Louis to Arizona. I don't think you can find a Cardinal in the whole almost cuss right in the whole state of Arizona.
Yeah. Dude, you got those. You got to do something about like those. And people are going to give me flack because, like, oh, tradition. Like, dude, can we not
Traditional what?
get.
yeah.
I'm saying, well, I haven't said the team yet, but like, can we get someone on the better design for the Green Bay Packers? Like, dude, if I had to put that helmet on, it looks like it already reeks of mold. And then, like, the jersey looks like it's.
They're never changing the Packers.
I know, it's disgusting. But the
yeah, I
Cardinals
know,
is
you
a
hate
problem.
it.
Cardinals is a problem. Cardinals is a problem.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's funny. Underachieving since 1947. That's Arizona Cardinals right there. All right, we're going to be back right after the game on Sunday. I believe it's going to be a good game. I think all 3 of us believe this game is going to be close. You guys don't feel like it's going to have the same intensity. I think it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to seeing this game on New Year's Day. It's not exactly the matchup I thought it was going to be. I think I might have even picked this as my Super Bowl matchup at one point when the first show we ever did, that I expected the Chargers and Rams to match up. If you had to tell me one of these teams was going to bomb and not even make the postseason, I would have guessed it would have been the Chargers because the Rams were loaded coming off a Super Bowl victory. But no, that's not it. The new team in LA right now is the Los Angeles Chargers. So we're going to see it on January 1st, and we'll have the show right afterwards. Hope you join us again. Reach out to us. So many of you right now are starting to reach out to us. I know on Twitter, any way you can comment, whether it's through the YouTube or through the podcast that you're listening to on Odyssey. We do read them all, and so we appreciate it, and we will answer your questions as well. Again, for Josh Pele, Mario Heron, I'm Dave Pele. Again, thanks for listening to the Bolt City podcast, courtesy of Odyssey. We'll see you on Sunday.